Hey guys, welcome back to Billy Ray Garage. Today we are going to start tearing the rear end of this car apart, getting everything off of it. Going to start with the brake lines, going to bleed the brake lines, and then kind of go from there, see what's easy to access, what way we should take in order to get this all disconnected. So, like I said, start off with the brakes and go from there. Alright guys, going to disconnect the brake line. Is a 12 millimeter, so just get it on there. I'm going to bleed it out the rest of the way. Let's see what we got. Yeah, there we go, nice and easy. Just make sure, I don't know if you can see it, but I'll bring the camera in. That little washer there. Make sure you get that off because that'll cause you problems down the road. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side and start breaking down these brake lines, and we'll continue this a little later. I'm going to take off the caliper and the rotor. Alright guys, got the caliper off, the rotor off, the brake pads and all that fun stuff. So first thing I'm going to do is remove the axle. I'm going to get the axles out of the way. This is an 8 millimeter Allen head. I'm going to start over there. I'm probably going to take them all off except one. I'll leave one loose and then come down here, do this side, and then get this out. So let me start impacting. Okay, one axle out. Time to do the other side. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is disconnect this brake line here, because once you get this brake line off, the rest of the suspension should come down with it when you take the control arm out. So I'm going to break this guy free and drain it out. Okay, so now that that's disconnected, I'm going to disconnect the other side, and yeah, then we should be able to start taking actual structural pieces apart. So let me go do the other side and get that bagged out. Okay, now we're going to disconnect the sway bar end links. I'm just going to disconnect it from the sway bar itself, because all this is going to come out in one piece, hopefully. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. These are both 13 millimeters on either side. I figured I could disconnect this, swing it down, and then get to the tow rod, which there's a ball joint on this side, it's back here somewhere, and then this bolt and nut. Same thing on the other side, but I'll take this off and get it going. Okay, so next we are doing the tow rod, and this is the more towards the bearing and the shock. This is an 18 millimeter. I'm gonna bust this free. Easy enough. I don't know how easy that comes out, but then we're gonna disconnect the other side, which is up there. Hi. Okay, one side's a 18 millimeter, one side's a 19 millimeter. Okay, so this back side is an 18 millimeter, and this side is a 19 millimeter. Let's see if we can bust this free. Oh, there we go. Nice. That's not too tight. So it feels like this will actually come out, which it's coming out, so that's good. Just keep threading it until it comes. There it goes. Okay, so I got that out by hand. That wasn't too bad. So now, maybe I can stick a pickle fork in between here where the ball joint is. Maybe I can whack that out. There it goes. Gotta want it. Gotta want it. Pull out nice and easy. There you go. Save the hardware for this because it doesn't give you any in the kit. Save that bolt. It does come with a nut for the ball joint, so that's positive. All right, so next we're gonna remove the shock. This is a 21 millimeter. So I'll hit it real quick, get that off. I'm not sure if there's a sleeve in there, it probably is. Yep, it dropped down. And we got a bonus spring. Good, because that needed to come out anyway. All right, so as you can tell, right here, you had a little nub that was going into the knuckle. So just be careful when you do this. That thing may come shooting out at you, so don't be under it. All right, real quick, another thing I just noticed. The brake line here and here are still connected. So if you're not replacing your brake lines, keep in mind that this is still connected and that you have to disconnect this. There's a little pin there. I would imagine just disconnect it, pop it out. I'm gonna pop this one out real quick because don't need it anymore. So keep that in mind. So if you're not replacing your brake lines, definitely keep that in mind. You will tear those things apart and you will have issues down the road. Okay guys, now another thing that I tried looking up and I couldn't find anything about was disconnecting the emergency brake line. So it's in this little folded piece of metal. And then if you look underneath, right here, it hooks in. And I looked underneath the car, I could not find a place to disconnect it. But I tried it on the other side and this seemed to have worked. If you actually pull on this, like on this little lever, if I could, like you could actually pull on it. So if you could loosen it, you could slide that off. And then here, I just took a hammer and kind of hit it from here out and it comes out. So that's the way I found to do it. I'll show you in a second. And yeah, it was actually pretty easy, but yeah, I was kind of worried about it, but I was able to get it. Stand by and I will show you how I did it. There we go. All right, yeah, so let's see if I can get this in there a little closer. So what I did was I pulled back on the cable to get this to move. And then I kind of just stuck a screwdriver in there to hold it. And then lip that thing out. Now with this, I suggest spraying a little WD or coil, whatever you got in there, to make it come off a little easier. At first I tried applying heat to it to see if that would break it loose. I don't know if that helped or not, but spraying it definitely will, so spray some in there. There it goes. Alright, so after just torching it, I would be very, very careful not to burn yourself on there. So, there we go. Alright, got that out of the way. Alright, so we are now going to remove the bolts for the cradle, which you can see here. That's the main one, that's where the bushing is. I did the other side. They used all the Loctite on that. These other three, there's one there, one here, and one there. Those come off pretty easily. This one's an 18 millimeter. These other three are 15 millimeters. You cannot use an impact gun on that. It does not want to come off. Get some knee pads, breaker bar. If you get this car higher up in the air, that's even better. But we're gonna struggle along on this thing and get it out. Do the middle one first and then the outside ones, because that thing torques on you. So get very comfortable. This thing's a motherfucker. Another thing to remind you, it does make that sound like it's snapping. Just ignore that and keep going. Because when you put a ratchet on there, you think you destroyed your ratchet. It's not the case. I promise you it gets easier. This is a very long bolt, so just keep chugging along. It'll come. It's coming, we're getting there. I work out a lot and this thing's killing my back. There it goes. So after battling that, as you can see, all the Loctite they used all of it. I'm gonna clean that off at some point when it goes back together. Probably just apply a little heat to it, maybe it'll melt off. I don't know. But Jesus. So yeah, I've been recording for about 12 minutes, just fighting this thing, and I already had it started, so probably add another like 5 minutes to that. To show you what I've been using. So I'm on the ground. So I have my tow hitch for my Jeep and a drive shaft for my Jeep that hits all those boxes over there. So I put my foot on here and it just started rowing. Pain in the butt, but that's what you gotta do. Alright, let's get the rest of it off. Alright guys, so now we're back under here. We got our 3 bolts that we gotta take off. So before I started this job, I should have taken the drive shaft off because now I have no e-brake, no axles. Can't stop that from spinning, no big deal. Instead of dropping the whole cradle, I'm only going to drop it far enough to get the control arms off because the bolts are buried up here. And yeah, put a jack under it so it doesn't come flying down on you. So yeah, I assume when I take these 3 bolts out, this part of the cradle is going to want to drop down a little bit. So just be careful with that. This thing's going to want to come down on you too, so stay clear. And we'll bang that out real quick and see what we got. So I'm not going to need this where we're going anymore. We have subframe connectors going in. Jesus, what the hell's up in here? Alright, so this whole thing just kind of flops. Alright guys, just loosen the jack up a little bit. As you can see, this thing's down a little more. I believe there's a top half to this thing. Let's see. Yeah, there is. Okay, so there's a top bushing on top that comes off pretty easily. This thing I believe is going to fight me. I've not looked into how to get this out, but I'm assuming I may be able to put something up top here and jack this up to pop this out, but give that a shot. But with it down, actually come down more, you could get access to the bolts here for the control arms. That one right there is pretty accessible. This one, not quite yet. I'd have to drop it down further. Before I do that, I'm going to put this bushing in because while we're here, and I got this down, the other side's still up. So yeah, I'm just going to stick, probably just stick a socket or something up here and just jack this up and see if that works. So that's what I'm going to do. Nice extra long socket. So I got a 30mm socket, I believe, is in there. I'm going to see if I can just jack that up and see if that, so yeah, I'm going to put a jack, like right here somewhere, and just try to jack that up. Alright, just holding the jack there, I could see it starting to push out a little bit. So just give it nice, easy pumps and it'll start pushing its way out. Yeah, it's continuing to push, so just be careful. This thing may fly out. It's getting there. It's still slowly coming down, so just, like I said, be careful that it flies out. There it goes. Cool. Alright, so that was pretty easy. Not as bad as I thought it would be. I can't get my socket off. That's the next question. Oh, jeez. That thing got wedged in there. Okay, I may not be able to get that off. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to come off. I may have just screwed myself. Alright, so don't use a 30 millimeter. Go something a little bigger. Maybe like a 32 or 34. Yeah, so that looks like it's going to be fun to get off. Alright guys, lowered the jack down a little bit. Got some clearance in here to get this bolt out because obviously the side skirt and part of the body are in the way, so it's down low enough to where you can get to it. 219 millimeters. I'm going to use an impact gun and a box wrench. That should do the job. Should run off. There it goes. Okay, so a little encouragement to come out. And cool, got it. That was fun. Wasn't too bad. Alright, now we'll go underneath the car and tackle that one. Go on. There it is. Okay, and I guess with a little prying, this should come down like so. Okay, now, so now we got the inside one loose. Now we can, should be able to just wiggle this thing out and it should drop. There it goes. That's how you remove the control arm. Alright, coolsies. So this is out. Got the sway bar end link still on there. Didn't need to take that off. So yeah, this is the gutted wheel well. Like I said, I wanted to take this whole subframe out and clean it up, but like I said, I did not take the drive shaft off. And being that I didn't take the drive shaft off when I could have, with the axles off and the e-brake disconnected, I can't lock it. It would just be a fight, so I'm just gonna leave it in for now. Let me dig into the rest of this thing and okay guys, got all the control arms out. The only thing I need to do is to drop the differential because there is a new bushing that goes in there, so gotta loosen the bolts and I'm gonna clean up all these control arms. You can see the other ones over there. So go back at it in the morning, it's getting late. Back at it, taking the rear shock off, or strut, whatever you want to call it. The shock, we'll call it a shock. 16 millimeter. It's gonna spin on you, so I clamped this onto the top. It's gonna hit against the fuel tank. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. That would suck. Okay, let's see if we get this off. Okay, this thing may drop. So if you want two people for this, it might be a good idea if you don't want to damage anything. Just spin it really fast. Faster than it could spin, it'll drop down. Almost there. There it goes. Okay, so that kind of went as planned. Got this out. Don't need that where we're going. So that's gonna go right there. Now on to the other side. Alright, so this is the passenger side. This is fun. So there's our nut that we want to get to. It is buried behind the fuel line. Yay. Can't really do much videotaping this, but just showing you where it is. It's buried back there. Good luck. Same thing, 16 millimeter. Hold the top and it should drop down. Okay guys, now we're going to disconnect the sway bars. I got new bushings. I don't know if they'll actually fit, but we're going to give it a go. So I'll take it off. So you got to drop the subframe down, the cradle. It's still in there, so that's good, but we're going to be taking that apart later. So yeah, there's a 13 millimeter bolt right there. Let's plug them out. Deep socket will help so you can come over the top. So let's get that going. go. Cool. Alright, so got the sway bar disconnected. There's a little clip right there and it bolts in the back. So should just be able to lift and pull if the other side will cooperate. There it goes. And then you can pull this out. So as you can see, this is a Hotchkiss sway bar. The rear is 4 position, so I had it right there on the second one from the end. Probably gonna bump it back 1 or 2 the way we set it up next time. Alright, that's it for the disassembly of the back. Next video will be putting all the bushings back in. Yay! So it should ride much better. I'm betting on it. Sinking $3,000 plus into the suspension. After I get this all set up and put back together, I'm going to give it a test ride, tell you how I feel or how it feels and what I think of it. And then after that, we'll be doing subframe connectors. We'll have to weld them in. You'll be seeing some new parts go on that the old parts did not go back on. Namely this plate from the cradle. So you'll see a different piece, but if you want, you can put this back on, but I'm putting subframe connectors in. So, till then, do me a favor, like, subscribe. You know what to do. Peace.